Good morning, everyone. I bring you greetings from, Good morning, everyone. I bring you greetings from Senator Jim Webb. First of all, the Senator would like to congratulate Congressman Tom Perriello for his hard work that he's put forth in this project. The Senator is excited to join in with Congress Tom Perriello, the U.S. Economic Development Administration, the Danville, Pennsylvania Regional Industrial Facility Authority, and the Tobacco Commission to celebrate this groundbreaking ceremony today. This $2.2 million has been allocated for infrastructure improvement to support local economic development. We are pleased that the Cane Creek project has been chosen to receive this funding. Since coming to the Senate, Senator Webb has focused on restoring jobs and economic growth with Southside Virginia. We are hoping that this is only the beginning of what the future holds for Danville and Pennsylvania County. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Webb. Thank you very much. To move along in closing comments from RIFR, just like to recognize RIFR Board. All of you on RIFR Board, would you raise your hand this morning? Thank you, Sherman. You know, at this time, in closing remarks, you know, this grant will provide us with opportunity to degrade two major sites in the Cane Creek Center Industrial Park. Prepared sites are a very valuable asset for any community to have in its inventory to attract new business. To have land that is building ready gives us the opportunity to be more competitive than other localities that cannot offer that quick response to a company that is seeking a site for new operations. And this morning, I'd just like to again thank Congressman Tom Perriello, Rick Seiger, this morning for all from the Department of Commerce and all they've done, and Bob, definitely you too, and all the hard work, and I'd like to say Linwood Wright, and thank the Tobacco Commission for the funding that they have given us, which they've always been great. Also, the Economic Development Administration, to go back to highlight some of these things, some of the figures hadn't been exactly rounded off, but the Economic Development Administration of the U.S. Department of Commerce funded will cover $2,275,030. And then the Tobacco Commission has committed $426,568, leaving RIFR for the responsibility of $142,190 to complete this expansion. Thank you very much. At this time, I'll ask the Congressman and Rick, we were going to go across the road here for the groundbreaking. I assure you it's going to be very brief. And after that would conclude our program for the 1, 2, 3. All right. Nice action shot. Do y'all need a rerun?
Joining us now, of course, United States Congressman Tom Perriello. And Congressman Perriello, another great day for economic development here in Southside, here at the Cane Creek Center. Talk a little bit about this $2.2 million from the federal government and what that's going to be used for. I know Tobacco Commission chips some in, and of course our Regional Industrial Authority as well.
Well, it's obviously a great day for jobs, and jobs aren't a Republican or a Democrat idea. We're talking about 500 to 800 jobs and $25 to $45 million of private investment coming in to follow this. One of the things we know in Southside is we can still compete with anywhere in the world if we have the infrastructure in place. So when we make the investment in the sewage and grading infrastructure, may not sound very sexy, but when it translates into 500 to 800 jobs, it's a very big deal. So this is the kind of public-private investment that makes our area competitive and brings back that economic growth we so desperately need.
And talk about economic growth, and you deal with economic development authorities all over the state, especially in your district as well, but talk about the importance of having these shovel-ready developments ready to go when the economic developers come calling.
Well, when I started out at this new job, I went out and talked to the economic development planners at the local level and said, what is it you want me to fight for? And they said EDA grants are one of the most effective that we can get, along with these community development block grants. So I went up to Washington and tried to fight for more funding in those areas, knowing it led directly to economic development in areas like Southside Virginia. Because we were able to win those fights, now we're getting to see these kinds of investments in our communities, and the jobs come from there.
And talk about the partnership between Danville and Pennsylvania County. You see partnerships forming all across this country, in the 5th District as well, but talk about the unique partnership between Danville and Pennsylvania County and how it leads to a lot of these great projects.
Well, I'm an unabashed cheerleader for Southside Southside Virginia, not only just our natural resources and competitiveness, but the local leadership. Seeing the city and county work together like Danville and Pennsylvania have, seeing state, local, and federal work together, seeing public and private sector, we really have a deep commitment here. People understand the urgency of this economic crisis in a way Washington too often doesn't. So here where the rubber hits the road, we really have good partnerships. We get it. We're creating that competitive advantage. That's leading to economic development. And it's just one of those times where there's no time for foolishness. We just got to get down to work.
And talk about growing, Congressman, as we move forward, especially in this park here. We've got other industrial parks here in Danville, Pennsylvania County, and growing those parks. We're doing it here with these grants. How do we move forward?
Well, obviously, this is a big victory because it's an investment that brings business, that brings hundreds of jobs, because it's creating that competitive advantage. You have to look at where the weak point is. In this case, things like the water infrastructure you may not even see when you're driving by, but a business that's coming here sees it. And if they see what they need, they're going to locate here. If they don't, they're going to go to one of 1,000 other counties. So the economic development planners in the city and county understand that need. They've talked to me. I've listened. We've gone and fought for it, and we've got a big victory for Southside today.
Congressman, thank you for making the trip to Southside Virginia today and all the work you're doing for us in Washington.
Thank you very much.
Joining us now, the Honorable Mayor of the City of Danville, Sherman Saunders. And Mayor Saunders, another great economic development announcement for the City of Danville. This one basically giving us the opportunity to attract more jobs to Danville here in the Cane Creek Center.
Absolutely. 500 to 800 new jobs with a $20-some million investment brought by the private sector is major news for the city and for this region. It is more evidence that Danville, Pennsylvania County, we are determined to bring the jobs here, turn our economy around in a good way, and it is working.
Talk about the importance of the partnership between Danville and Pennsylvania County and the role that it played in applying for this federal grant.
If you look at the economy today, it is tough all over the United States of America. People must work together. Danville cannot be successful in this venture without the support of Pennsylvania County. Pennsylvania County cannot be successful alone either. We must work together, and we are doing that. Today's announcement is evidence of that.
And we've got a great track record together as we look at the Cane Creek Center here with Swedwood, Yorktown, Cabinetry, and we just continue to grow.
I remind people, we talk about the high unemployment rate. Do two things. One is reflect on all the jobs that have come here over the past several years that are still here today. Look at the jobs that are coming. Look at the White Mill Project, 400 jobs. Look at EcomNet, 160 jobs. Look at today, 500 to 800 jobs. All evidence that we are moving forward. We're getting the past behind us, and we're moving in a good direction, in a good way, and it feels great.
Absolutely. Now talk about the infrastructure improvements that will take place. I know it's going to basically be site work with water, wastewater being sent to this site, but how important that is for our economic developers when they go to market this site to companies and having this in place when they do that.
It is imperative that we have good infrastructure in place, the water, the sewer, the electricity, and all of the other necessities. In addition to getting this infrastructure in place, is also creating jobs. We need people to do that. We also need equipment to get that done. And we're buying that equipment locally. We're hiring people locally. Investing to hire, again, up to 500 to 800 more people, most of them locally. It's very important.
That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the City Update. But before we leave, we lost a special individual last weekend here in the city of Danville, former Mayor and Councilwoman Ruby Archie. A wonderful smile, always a positive attitude, a great educator, a member of council for over 16 years, taught in the Danville Public Schools for over 37 years. She will be greatly missed. And earlier I talked to Mayor Sherman Saunders a little bit about the impact that Ruby had on the lives of thousands of individuals here in the city of Danville. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us today. Before I let you go, I know Saturday the city was saddened to learn of Ruby Archie's passing, a great educator, councilwoman, and former mayor here in the city of Danville. Just your thoughts on what Ruby Archie meant to you.
My wife and I were driving last Saturday morning, and I turned my cell phone on, and I had several voice messages, and I pulled over and I checked them, and when I learned that Miss Archie had passed away, so my wife and I did go to her house to talk with her family. So many wonderful thoughts of Ruby. One is she gave the gift that keeps on giving. By that I mean she taught thousands of students, in the Danville Public Schools. Many of those students today are parents themselves. They are instilling the same values in their children that Miss Archie instilled in them. And when their children become parents and have children, they will do the same. That's what I mean by giving the gift that keeps on giving. Miss Archie's legacy will be everlasting.
Talk about that smile. It seems like every time I saw her, she had a beautiful smile on her face, always positive, always a positive thing to say to everyone. I don't think she had a negative bone in her body.
She did not. Miss Archie, that smile, that beautiful smile, supportive, encouraging, and in many ways gave you a sense of security. You know, it made you feel you could do even more. Just a lovely lady. That
Mayor.
smile will always be remembered.
Mayor, thank you so much for joining us today and your remembrance of Mrs. Archie.
And thank you, sir, for all the great work you do every day. And I mean that literally. You do great work every day. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Well, we will definitely miss Ruby's wonderful smile and positive attitude. I'll never forget when we first started City TV 20 about 5 years ago. She was the first council person to actually acknowledge the new channel during a council meeting, and really thanked Jerry Gwaltney, our city manager at the time, for allowing me to start this channel and allowing it to grow over the years. So I'll always remember Ruby for acknowledging our channel at that first council meeting after we launched the channel. So we lost a special individual this past weekend, and our condolences go to her family.